The next morning, I get a phone call from a DSHS agent saying that they're at our facility for an inspection. We are regulated. And that was the biggest misconception. Everybody keeps saying unregulated, poison, which is not true. This is just proves to everybody that it's not true.
In a recent committee hearing, a woman dropped a bombshell on the Texas hemp industry.
My name is Jennifer Richter. Last spring, our middle son was a best man at his older brother's wedding, healthy, happy, full of life and promise. He bought high-potency lab-altered cannabis, what's being sold everywhere here in Texas. Within months, his personality unraveled, paranoia, isolation, and volatility. Another company selling THC edibles was on a podcast. They have a shiny website, great branding. I looked and they're not registered with the Texas Secretary of State. They have no hemp license, no sales tax permit, nothing. The issue isn't needing more regulation, it's why aren't agencies enforcing the laws that you've already written? This industry is spitting on your work, exploiting loopholes, and they're daring Texas to act. I hear online, I'm free to do this. Well, a core libertarian principle is informed consent. Freedom to choose has been undermined by these companies because they hide and they distort the truth. Freedom requires accountability.
So we are in the middle of the special session. There's a lot of drama going on, and you might have missed this one specific testimony where this woman was claiming that people were spitting in the faces of lawmakers and operating in secret. And if you'll remember, she actually said there was a great brand that went on this podcast.
Another company selling THC edibles was on a podcast. They have a shiny website, great branding.
I found the podcast and I found the brand.
Well, first of all, thank you for the compliments. Thank you for the shiny website and great branding compliment that we put a lot of work behind this. So we appreciate that.
She said great branding.
Great branding.
Shiny website
Shiny
and great
website.
branding.
They have a shiny website, great branding.
So
I
thank
love
you for
that. Thank you.
For that.
They're not fine, not good, not decent.
Great.
Great branding.
So this testimony, this hearing was July 22nd in the Senate, in the Texas Senate. July 23rd, the next day, the next morning, I get a phone call from a DSHS agent, inspector to be exact, saying that they're at our facility for an inspection. The reason why they were there, which they disclosed to me, is because they received a complaint from someone. We are a company working without a license in the hemp industry. Well, it was very easy to find our license because it was sitting on the wall of the office in the lobby. Anyway, we just want to say thank you, honestly, because we as a licensed operator, we want to make sure that everybody else in this industry is also licensed. So I'm not being sarcastic, I'm being honest, and I do appreciate whoever is doing this. They are spending time to do the research and also making sure that everybody is indeed licensed. So again, thank you. Nothing but positives.
What was your initial reaction when you got the call from DSHS and they were going to come by, and they also mentioned that someone had a complaint? Like,
they were already there. They didn't tell me they're going to come. They were already there.
So what was the initial reaction to that?
I mean, it was, and this is the thing, DSHS, they can come and inspect at any time, which we knew, right? So it was not a shock. It was not a surprise. Right. The surprising part was the day after our testimony in the hearing in the Senate, which in my testimony, as you can see here in this clip, I did mention that we are regulated by the DSHS. So that just proves to me that that we are right. We are a regulated industry. They have our fingerprints, they have our address, they have our phone numbers, emails. So they basically called and say, hey, we're here for an inspection. I do want to make sure that everybody in this industry is licensed. They're doing the right things. So we're not running away from inspections. We're not hiding. We are regulated. And that was the biggest misconception in this whole legislative session and the special session. Everybody keeps saying unregulated, poison, which is not true. This is just proves to everybody that it's not true.
It's not true. The fact that some random Texas citizen can wake up one day, file a complaint on a business that they saw on a podcast, that then triggers an inspection, whether it was random or not, whatever they want to say, right? It triggers an inspection. The brand that she specifically complained about and mentioned was inspected upon by the regulatory body, and the regulatory body doesn't show up with the police and handcuffs and evidence bags, right? And they actually were able to provide insight on things that we would have not known otherwise. And it
Correct.
really was like a super beneficial meeting
Yes.
and inspection. And I hope that more people in the industry that are making food or ingestibles or smokables are held to that same standard. That's literally what we want.
Yes.
And something that really upsets me about this specifically is like, these people are so angry and they're looking in the wrong place. She spent time trying to tear down in her testimony a good actor that's out there showing their face on a public podcast, blasted all over the internet, trying to prove that there is transparency and there is regulation to this, which means that while she's focused on us, they're not finding the bad actors, because
Right.
those bad actors don't go on the podcast. I would never interview a bad actor. I would never platform a bad actor.
Right.
Those bad actors don't testify. They don't show their face and put their name and everything. They don't give their fingerprints, you know?
Right.
So it proves the fallacy that I think we always knew from this argument. And that's, if this one random anonymous complaint can trigger something like this, that proves that what they say is not true. They can regulate these businesses. It was proven, and they do. And there is guardrails. There is standards. You do have to have a license. In fact, let me pass that over this way really quickly. I wanna make sure I hold it as well, just so I can make sure that you are legitimate, Rado, since I'm giving you an interview here.
Yeah.
So this says Texas Green Craft, though.
Yes.
And the brand we go by is TexaKana Organics.
Organics,
Can you kind of explain a little bit of corporate structure for those who may not know?
Sure, of course. As a lot of people know, there is this thing called DBA, which stands for Doing Business As. Every company that is registered with the state of Texas, have a sales tax permit, they can do a DBA, doing business as a brand, because they might have more than one brand, they might have more than one industry they're focused on. So it's normal, and we have this in our license. So it's I'm not here to argue about the complaint.
No.
We're happy that this happened. We wanna make sure that everybody is licensed, and this to us, like I said, it's a testimony for us that we are doing what we're supposed to, and we are regulated. So honestly, that was nothing but positive.
Yeah, I agree. And this literally says Texas sales and use tax permit right at the top.
Yeah, we have it in the lobby on the wall. So
I see it every single day, basically.
Yeah.
And it also says something at the bottom here: consumable hemp product. This doesn't say we're a farm. This doesn't say that we're just making hemp products to only go topically on your skin. It says consumable hemp product, biggest day. So whatever you want to define as consumable or not, that's different. But the state, I want everyone to know, the state will license you to make consumable hemp products.
Correct.
So to say that they don't know it's going in food, they don't know that we're making these certain products, they don't approve of them, that is not true either. It says it on your license, just like my farm license is from TDA, and it says hemp producer license, lot crop number X, Y, and Z, license number X, Y, and Z. So yeah, to say that this is Wild West and that we're not doing what we're supposed to is not true. But it is true that likely there are bad products out there on shelves. And that's what I was saying with my previous comment, is like every time the DSHS, there's 8 of them in the whole state of Texas, and one of them came to our place. So I don't know what percent that is of the entire enforcement agency, but that percentage was held up by going and checking on a good actor that didn't have any hangups, didn't have any problems, versus actually enforcing upon people who aren't the good actors. They're the bad actors. They're putting synthetics in things. They're putting God knows what. They're not testing correctly. Whatever you want to catch them on. They don't have a sales tax use permit. They are sending money back overseas. Whatever argument you want to make. But that at that moment in time, a percentage of the enforcement agency was held up at our place, going through the motions of what a good actor, checking boxes, when they could have been in somewhere else.
That's true. And the thing is, again, we understand the other side, right? We're not blind. We're not saying that cannabis is for everybody.
Right.
Cannabis is not for everybody. And I'm honest. If I'm a person and I'm affected personally, I'm a parent. I have, family. So if one of my family members is affected by a substance, no matter what it is, I would probably do the same thing as these people are doing. It's all about a personal perspective at the end of the day, right? So I understand their point. Although I don't agree on a ban as a solution to that, I understand their point and where they're coming from. And if I was at some of those people's shoes, I would be the same place doing the same thing. So I get that. But also, this plant or these substances also help so many more people. So it's hard to decide. Okay, so we're gonna ban this to make sure that some people don't have access to it, but also that's gonna take access to the people that's actually beneficial for, like people with epilepsy. And so it's hard to how do we choose who to protect and who to not protect or take away what helps them live. It looks like your podcast, and this is kudos to you, bravo, for this podcast, because this is a bridge. We want to do it. We want to create a bridge because we understand the other side, but we just don't agree on the outcome and the solution of this.
I agree. And thank you to everyone who supports these videos and the channel and has gotten it to where it's gotten. I'm just lucky enough to be the guy who sits in the chair. That's literally what this comes down to. I represent thousands of people and consumers and Texans and operators that we don't always see in these videos, but they definitely are out there, and that's what this is for. And that is really why this podcast and a lot of our messaging from this past few sessions that we've been trying now to defend ourselves has made it so far, is because the people, like these little testimonies and what the senators say in their echo chamber is only so much of the actual hearing. And then you have all the remainder, which is people that are testifying, some for and some against, but from the public, and you're hearing both sides. And so the will of the people and the voice that we have is very powerful, and obviously people are watching. And I love that it again sheds positive light on this of I'm obviously highlighting the right people, because if people that are on my podcast are going to be getting inspected, if the DSHS wants to just watch every episode and then go look at that person, I encourage that, because those people I'm interviewing, they better have it together.
Right.
And if they don't, I don't want to give them the platform because of the same things. We don't want to glorify the bad actors or anyone. Give people a platform that are not completely compliant and safe and good people.
Right.
Good Texans. And she's also talking about synthetics in her testimony. Synthetics. The synthetic THC should not be out there. Everyone in the industry agrees.
Yes.
Everyone agrees that synthetics are not only already illegal, but should not be out there. And that's something you need to watch for, not only as a consumer, but a retailer and a distributor, blah, 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 blah. So we don't agree those are bad. And in TexaKana Organics, it's in the name. It's not called TexaKana Synthetics. It's called TexaKana Organics.
Exactly.
For a reason. And the synthetic conversation is just bad for both sides, because you're not actually talking about the same thing. You're talking about one thing that's synthetic and one thing that's natural. And those are always two different things. Food, drugs, no matter what. Like, those are completely two different things. And so I'm hoping more people are wise to what they hear and don't take it all for face value, because again, she easily could find this brand because it's out there. Imagine the ones that are hiding and they're buried under a bunch of umbrellas and corporate structure, and they are sending all their money out of town, wherever it may go. So there are things that exist like that. And instead of, I think there's so much more to be done on our industry side for highlighting, I don't want to say the dangers, but the realities of cannabis, cannabis use.
What I do think is what I do agree is, again, this substance, this plant, it can be very beneficial, but it also can hurt in certain situations. Sure. And we want to make sure that we study that. Like, a ban will not fix that.
The more information, the better. I mean, you can't personal liberty. That's what that comes down to.
Right.
Have the freedom to make decisions, try things out, and you weigh the consequences. I think a lot of people we hear testifying for a ban of THC are not only trying to target the wrong thing, because they're dealing with synthetics, whatever they may label as synthetic, And the real danger of banning it presents what they're actually fighting for, which is not allowing dangerous substances to be proliferated and be available on every street corner.
Right.
And it does like this opposite effect when you ban something because of that. Then drug dealers and bad actors are not going to check IDs. They're not going to care what's in it. They're not going to test their products.
No.
They're not going to get license and state and
Yes.
sales tax and use permits.
No.
They're not going to get any of that. And it just makes Texans safer. That doesn't mean cannabis is safe for every Texan. It just makes the Texans that use cannabis and depend on local trusted brands a lot safer in doing so, and gives them the access, the personal liberty and freedoms to make that choice.
Kudos to you for this platform, because it gives us a bridge, and we like I said, we would like to also invite some of those people for a healthy debate.
Dude, open invite to any mother
Yes.
who's been affected by a product in this industry, and the actual person that has been affected.
Yes.
Open invite to come on the show and talk about things. Same with police officers.
Right.
Seriously, like open
Yes.
invite to Steve Dye and anybody else that sees this the opposite way and that is on the other side of
Yes.
this from us, because sitting here in these chairs is going to keep getting us closer.
Yes.
And that's the whole point. That's what I don't like about this, is the two extremes, like shouting at one
Exactly.
another.
I know it's emotional because it's a lot at stake. It's personal, right? It's
Oh,
personal
absolutely.
because
Yeah.
everybody has a personal experience, and it can be good or bad. So it gets emotional, but we need to have a sit down or a debate or some kind of a meet
Yeah.
that we understand both sides and figure out what's the best solution from there.
And you look at what they say about who they're trying to paint these operators to be, right?
Right.
All these derogatory terms that they use, foreign nationals, terrorists, cartels, whatever. Would those people come in and testify? Would you like, you know, if that was actually
Yeah.
realistic? So I feel like it's also just kind of peculiar that you come on the show, you have an accent, you're a little different when you talk from other people that I've interviewed.
Always different.
So, you know, and I always wonder if it's coincidence that these things happen this way. Like they were trying to look for some, you know, Bulgarian mafia operation, which is really not who we are. And if we were, again, like, be careful about how you talk on a public testimony about some of these actors, because I don't know the bad actors.
Right.
I don't know who they are. I don't know what they're gonna do. I know who we are. I know
Yes.
how instead of acting out, we will come and make a video. And we will encourage conversation. But
Yes.
I don't know about everybody else that is under in the shadows, under the radar. I don't know. I can't speak for them.
Right.
It's just not a good look, not a good thing. And we started off this episode by playing a clip of testimony of someone who is absolutely for banning THC, wants us gone tomorrow. So I think now should just play 2 minutes of what Rado, an actual good actor and good person, was able to say and testify in front of the Senate committee hearing just recently. So we'll play Rado's clip.
My name is Rado Ivanov, and I represent myself and our small family-owned business, TexaKana Organics. Let's be clear, this bill has nothing to do with protecting kids and everything to do with political interest and eliminating competition for the few chosen corporations that are part of TCUP. The truth is that hemp THC is a regulated industry by the DSHS. And you can easily confirm that and see the regulations, including labeling, testing, and licensing with quick online search. SB 3 was vetoed by Governor Abbott based on what the majority of Texans want, a regulated hemp THC market that is inclusive of small businesses like ours and support the freedom of Texans to make adult choices. It's obvious that the Senate of Texas doesn't represent the voice of Texans or purposely ignore it in favor of certain organizations and campaign donors. And honestly, I'm not sure which one is worse. A ban is never a solution to a situation. Education is. And Texans should be trusted with THC just like they're trusted with alcohol, tobacco, and guns.
And as you can hear me in the clip, I literally, and this is the day before the inspection, I did say where DSHS, the Department of State and Health Services, is regulating our industry,
Yes.
which is deemed to be true.
Deemed to be true. It's almost like you were giving little breadcrumbs on the fact that we are regulated and that there is someone that can uphold us to a
Or
standard.
maybe I predicted the future.
Maybe you predicted the future. We heard this testimony of this person live. We were in the gallery when she said she saw a podcast and that there was a brand with great branding. Not good,
Shiny website.
great, and a shiny website.
They have a shiny website, great branding.
And we take a lot of pride and care in doing that. And branding is a very important thing. But when we heard that, we both had inclination in that
We kind of
moment
looked at each other.
that was my podcast and your brand that I also work on. And so it was like, oh, we're going to have to make a video for this. But in the spirit of that transparency, I did go find the podcast. I did go find the person that I interviewed that was specifically mentioned in that. And I wanted to make sure that they got their time to explain that that's just not true. And it's just not accurate, because this kind of dialogue is extremely important. And we only got 2 minutes too, you know?
Yes.
And we saw those things. And as soon as I heard that, I wanted to make sure we could revisit this yet again. For this would be now the 4th time you've appeared on this channel and in this format. And then I don't know, that was the 3rd time you testified.
You might as well just make me a co-host.
That's right. It's salary. Get him a salary, folks. Paul, write it up. Write up the salary, bro. We're going to hire Rado right here on the spot. But seriously, I mean, I think it is a true testament to the fact that what we do here matters. The media matters. The communication and dialogue matters. And we have to keep getting closer and closer to that line of education and letting people make choices. But again, I did want to just highlight, like, obviously, we came back and met that with, again, full transparency.
Transparency is the key word.
Yeah. And from now on, in fact, if you want to get a spot here on the Texas Growers podcast or on my YouTube channel, send me your Texas sales and use tax permit and your licenses and everything
with the
in an
state.
email. Yeah. From now on, I will say I can easily do that due diligence from now on and
You want to
guarantee
save some time for people, you know?
Yeah,
save time
yeah.
and taxpayers' money.
Exactly. I don't want resources wasted. I would just like to make sure that who we highlight is
But no,
licensed
honestly,
and legitimate.
that's been beneficial. Nothing but
Absolutely.
love and nothing. I understand everybody's trying to do the right thing. So again, nothing but positive.
Totally. And I just want to also meet some of this head on, not avoid it, because how many times can our industry just keep taking hits to the chin? You know what I mean? Without getting a platform and speaking our side. You know, I'm tired of us just getting the stigma we're dealt, the hand we're dealt, the testimony we're dealt, the complaint we're dealt. And we just have to take it. We just have to open our doors and have to take it and all that stuff. Now, granted, we don't have anything to hide. But I'll be damned if we don't get to tell our side of the story for our audience and beyond, of people who even obviously watch this show that oppose what we were doing here. Thank you. You know, so I wanted to make sure that we did that. So I think we were able to kind of cover that.
If you are in our industry, don't do shady stuff. Like don't hide. We have to have a face of this industry that they cannot pick on, and they cannot because the worst, and this, like what you said just now, is like our side of the story, because there was a lot of lies in those hearings. Like,
we don't have enough time to play
now
all of them.
regulated, which we literally proved that we are regulated. Thanks for that again. And poison and selling to kids and sure, like maybe somebody's doing it, but that's not what that's not what the industry is. That's not the face of the industry. Just like any industry, if you pick, no matter what, they're gonna have somebody not following guidelines.
Sure, yeah.
They're gonna have somebody like doing shady stuff or working without a license. And again, this is not the face of our industry. We're really like people that trying to help other people, and
100%.
and animals too, and pets and things like that. So the transparency and again, if you're in this industry, just do the right things. So you don't, we don't have to
Totally.
to face that. We don't have to be called like cartel, drug dealers, poisoning kids, and unregulated and all these things. But again, it shows to prove that everything nowadays is easily fact checked.
And everybody has one of these and one of these. Sometimes one or the other, sometimes even both on your person at all times.
Most people have both, I think. But
all
yeah.
times, right?
Yeah.
So the access to information is instantaneous these days.
Yeah.
So if you're missing it, it's only because it's at your convenience.
And if you go there and you speak publicly, again, if you're a politician or whatever, just you can't just say things. You can't say things. You're easily fact checked. It's easily to prove if you're wrong.
Educate yourself, and one way you can do that is go ahead and comment what you want to know about the industry, about the plant, about cannabinoids. The comments in the comments section is really the lifeblood of everything we're doing here on this platform. And I absolutely acknowledge every single comment, and I try to reply to the best of my knowledge. So please get active in the comments. Let us know even what you want to see or hear about or learn about in the future, who you want to hear from. If we want to interview a police chief, if we want to interview a politician, we want to interview another entrepreneur, let us know in the comments. We really want to know. This is our platform. It's our channel.
Yes.
You know, we have stories to tell, and we want to know what's most interesting to you. Guys, connect with Rado and TexaKana Organics. I will be linking all of their information in the description and probably in the bios of any other platform this video makes it onto. So make sure you stay up to date with TexaKana Organics. They are honestly one of the best out there doing small batch craft edibles. They care about the ingredients. They care about you. They care about the effects this has on you. So definitely stay in contact with them. Reach out with any questions. We're going to do more series like this. So if you like this stuff, again, let us know in the comments. Stay subscribed, and we will see you on the next one.